Brandon Nakashima has some of the cleanest strokes on tour, and I'm going to show you what you can learn from his forehand to help improve your forehand. Now, this video is courtesy of 12KGP Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his awesome channel. I've put his link in the description below. All right, so the first thing, when he takes the racket back, I want you to notice a couple things. First, he's taking it back with the left hand, since he's right-handed, his non-hitting hand, we'll say, still on the racket. The backswing, and think of it as the take back and the rotation on a forehand, is two-handed. Take the racket back with both hands. The second thing I want you to notice is that his hand, his elbow, and his shoulder are all relatively the same height. This makes sure that your turn isn't too low, nor is your turn too high. You don't want to turn too low because you lack racket speed, but if you'll turn high, then the swing can get too large. So take the racket back with both hands and have your hand, elbow, and shoulder the same height. The second thing, I want you to notice that as his racket drops, so does his body. Look at this. This is so Vic Braden. I absolutely love it. 3-point landing, right? It's part of it. Watch how the racket goes down and watch how the body goes down as well. You can see his foot stepping forward. I mean, this is just absolutely perfect. This is what Vic Braden would say, sit in a chair, right? So it's like you're sitting in a chair. You want to sit down or kind of like in a stool. You want to sink your body down because you want to be able to use your body and the ground as an energy source and come back up again. So it's called sit and lift, sit down and come back up again. And it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to look like you're doing a squat where your butt's almost hitting the ground. Just a little bit and then come back up again will make a world of difference in helping you get below the ball and also get energy from your legs and from the ground. Now, addition to this, I want you to watch his non-hitting hand clear out of the way. Remember, in the first tip, he took the racket back with both hands. Well, he's not going to keep it here. Eventually, he's got to have that non-hitting hand visible over the non-hitting shoulder as he's striking the ball, which we'll talk about. So how does it get there? Well, as the body is going down, as his foot's going forward, as his racket's dropping, he's clearing that non-hitting arm out of the way. So the racket goes back with both hands, but then as the body sits down and as the racket drops, he starts bringing that non-hitting hand forward like he's clearing someone out of the way, right? So he's like moving someone out of the way who's standing in front of him. That's the idea. That's what's going to make it possible that he starts to rotate his body and his hips into the shot. Now, when he drops the racket down and he sinks down with his body, notice that his strings are closed. When your strings are pointing down prior to contact, it makes it so easy to swing inside out away from the body and swing up to contact with your strings facing forward. If you lack consistency, then either your strings are facing up or your strings are facing down, or you feel like you're rolling over the ball for topspin, which really isn't possible, but that's the feeling that you're having and it's making you super inconsistent. Then make sure when you film yourself that your strings are pointing down prior to contact. Because when you do this, it makes it so easy to swing, let me get an arrow here, to swing up the back of the ball for spin. This is what gives you the control for consistency. So tilt your strings down prior to contact. You can see that because that left hand was clearing out of the way, that's what's actually helping him to rotate his body. That's what sets the wrist angle. Strings are closed. You get this angle in his wrist. You get the butt cap pointing at the ball, which is actually right there. He is in a perfect slot position, strings closed to swing away from the body and swing up the back of the ball. Now, as he's doing this, he's actually coming up out of the chair. Remember, he sat down and now he's coming back up again. This is where he's rotating. You'll notice that at contact, again, I already mentioned this, the non-hitting hand is visible over the non-hitting shoulder. This is not a small detail. You need to film yourself from the back and check to see that your non-hitting hand as you are striking the ball is visible over the non-hitting shoulder. When you do this, it ensures that you're able to rotate your hips. If your non-hitting hand is visible here or down here or even here, it is actually much harder to rotate your hips. So have your non-hitting hand going up and across and have it visible at the moment you contact the ball. And last, let's talk about the finish. Absolutely love this. Back foot is turning up on the toe like he's squashing the bug. His hips have fully rotated. Now his hips are facing forward. His chin and shoulder are touching. His hitting hand is as high as his eyes or as high as his nose. You want to think of it that way. And he's even partially catching the racket in the left hand that I am a big fan of. Let's go to the next one here. There's the split step. By the way, let's look at his split step timing. You want to be in the air as your opponent hits. So let's see. There's the opponent striking the ball. And let's see. Yep, he's in the air. That gets you to time your split step correctly. You want to be in the air as your opponent hits so that you're landing after. That synchronizes your brain and your reaction time with when your feet hit the ground, right? So you want to synchronize your brain and your body so that you're reacting to the ball as you are hitting the ground or vice versa. That makes you actually faster when you react and have to make your first step. So he turns with both hands. Absolutely love this. Hand, elbow, shoulder, all the same height. His hand, elbow, shoulder, all the same height. He drops his body down. You can see him sinking down as the racket drops, and he clears that non-hitting arm out of the way. Tilts the strings down. Now he comes up with his body again, right? Sit and lift, sit down and lift up as he spins up the back of the ball, and he catches the racket high in his opposite hand. Don't forget that back foot turning up on the toe. Now, the best way to practice these techniques is at home with a Topspin Pro. You can get a Topspin Pro using my link in the description. I'm also going to pin it in the first comment. I absolutely love the Topspin Pro, and I know you will too. And if you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, or if you want to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, use my link in the description and pinned in the first comment, playercourt.com/2minute tennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. Please go out and film your forehand from the back and review what you see in your video with what you learned in this video. And if you do, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.